be back.
Oh, very
Um,
happy.
yeah. So today we talk about supplements that we take, right? So we'll share all the supplements that we're taking at the moment. Oh my God. Uh, Let me connect to Instagram.
Sure.
Yes. And it's, oh my God, look at this. I'm so cold here. It's -1 Celsius.
Oh, wow. That
And
is
yeah, I was just mentioning to Sky, I was feeling hungry, so I made a mega smoothies.
that's like 2 liters. Is that 1 liter or two? Because mine's 2 liters.
2 liters.
You go, girl. What's in it?
Um, Mostly green leafy veggies. The mustard greens, banana, pineapple, ginger. Oh, sea moss. Sea moss that
Go,
you.
girl. We
Yeah,
love
I've
that.
been starting since 4 or 5 days ago. And tangerine. Yeah, and they were pineapples are frozen. The one that I froze, and it's it's like gelato now. So I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna sip slowly because it's a bit cold.
Well, I'm glad you put that on the screen because essentially, when you say like where your supplements, that's it, right? First
Yeah,
and
exactly.
foremost, it's the diet.
Right. This is the most important thing. This is like, I feel so great. Oh, and I have 5 tablespoons of chia seeds.
In there,
Yeah.
well, so will you eat that all day or is that just breakfast?
This is breakfast for me.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I would have maybe another two. Sometime I don't, but I try to have another 3 tablespoons or so. It's interesting. I was doing chronometer. I usually don't do it, and I like the last few days I've been checking on chronometer. Like
Yep.
by grams. Like I wasn't. I wanted to make sure, grams to make sure that I get all, what kind of nutrition am I lacking from that. And chia seeds is excellent for iron because if I
Yes.
don't, yeah, if I don't take 8 tablespoons of chia seeds, my iron is lacking. I mean, I eat a lot of greens, like leafy greens, the
Mm.
cruciferous veggies, but chronometer tells me that I don't take enough unless I take the chia seeds. That's why I like to add chia seeds into my smoothies.
I love that. Well, there's plenty of nutrients and vitamins in nature. So that's like the first and foremost. We don't want to be out there being like, eat badly and then take supplements. I think that is a misconception.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, should I go first for what I take? I mean, so this
Yes,
will
go
keep
for
me
it.
full for until 12. It is now 7 a.m. In Japan. I usually go at this time hiking, and I come back and finish what's left in my smoothies. And then around 1, actually 2, 3 p.m., I would have a big bowl of salad again with a shredded cabbage base.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I usually have a 2 big meal a day, and I finish eating around 5 p.m. But now, uh, my supplements, so I don't really take supplements, but this is the Chinese herb
Mm-hmm.
I started taking because my skin was going a bit out of control since last year. And this
What
is
do you
the
mean out of control?
I had rashes. I was feeling so itchy and it was very uncomfortable. So I was taking a pill to stop, like an allergy pill,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't going away. I thought it was seasonal thing, but it wasn't going away. And, you know, Chinese herb medicine here in Japan is quite popular.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked into it and I look at the ingredients, they were vegan and it looks clean. So that's what I'm taking.
What's in
Um,
it?
yeah, so I checked. I can bring it up. Maybe you can share what you're taking so I can look up again.
Is that the only supplement you're taking?
That's the only supplements I'm taking at the moment. I might start taking B12 because it was low and I was taking it and I was feeling fine. But I
Sure.
started to feel a bit of stress, like not twitching, but I can feel a bit of stress on my eyes. So you know what,
And the
let me
B12 stops that before, right?
sorry.
The B12 stopped the nervous twitch or the twitching eye before, right? Because it
Uh
affects your
yeah,
nerves, nerve regulation.
right. Yeah. And let me uh,
I don't mind share. I can share mine while you do that if you like.
Oh no, you know what? Let me yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so first off, when I first healed with raw foods, as sick as I'd been, I used no supplements. So it was just like the fresh food. And I feel like and I had a blood test and my blood work was terrible. My blood wasn't making protein. I'm missing the part of my stomach which absorbs iron and B12. They were both shot. What else? My liver was damaged. All my markers for my liver were off, not good. Within 1 year, I'd fixed everything on my blood test except my liver wasn't completely healed. That took another year. In fact, my then 2 years I had a blood test and everything was perfect. Everything was perfect. No supplements.
Wow.
Okay. And I was told when they took those parts of my stomach out that I would need iron and B12 infusions. Though, sorry, I lie. I was having a B12 shot, I think a year and a half in. I'd had one before, and then a year and a half in, I had. So that's all I'd had. And that has stayed up. I used to need them every 3 months. Now my doctor doesn't even want me to have them yearly because it gets too high. So it shows when you've got a healthy body what your body can do. But I didn't have any iron. And people always ask me, how did you heal your anemia? What did you eat? I ate a lot of greens at the start and I ate a lot of dates. Dates are very high in iron and they're very easily absorbed. I didn't have nuts or seeds in most of the first 2 years, only the first 6 weeks. So it was all just fresh. It had to be fresh, nothing from a packet. I had a little bit of nori. And that served me really well at the time. But I feel like, as much as I do feel like the raw food can have everything, it depends what someone's got going on with their health. And just know we're not sleeping like the animal that we're supposed to be. We're not grounded. We're very ungrounded, which makes the body very inflamed and stressed. Also, the air isn't of great quality. We're around lights all day. So I started to get problems where I ended up with low, because I'd stopped salt. I ended up with low sodium, high blood sugars, and low iron. But in 5 years of being raw, I've had 2 iron infusions because I can't supplement that because the part's actually missing. So it's never been absorbed. So um, I've had two. Now, in the 5 year, yeah, I had two. I used to have them about 4 or 5 a year, iron infusions. When I was eating meat or when I was vegan, I always needed infusions. So to me, that's a win. Uh, as for about 3 years in, I added magnesium advanced. I've spoken about this before. It helped me have more regular bowel movements and it also helped me with sleep. So all that's in this is magnesium glycinate, magnesium citrate, magnesium amino acid chelate, magnesium aspartate tetrahydrate. So it's just different types of magnesiums and they're just absorbed and able to assimilate and do different tasks more easily. Some are more readily available for the brain and for sleep and for nerves and all of that. So that is, to me, really important. And I notice when I don't take it, the biggest thing is the next day my ADHD is worse. Like I'm less able to concentrate on things. And magnesium is used for just about every process in the body. So I use that. What did I add? Okay, these are them. I'm going to do what I have and how I use them. So I'm going to talk about what I really, so that is really important to me. And then what is, and I know I'm bringing up flaxseed oil, but it's kind of like, I don't know, I have this in food and the omega 3s are like vital for me. Okay. So in all, those two are my ride or dies, like that I really need to stay healthy. What else I need, but don't take that often, possibly once a month or every 2 weeks, is quercetin. And quercetin is a polyphenol in things like grapes and apples, which is a natural antihistamine. So if I have a huge mast cell flare up, and even if my nerves start burning, if I've had any sweet fruit, if I take quercetin, it will stop. So I use this supplement as like a medication. So it's like, it's not my daily, it's not trying to top something up. It's when I have a flare up. Um, I will use the quercetin, and that's really amazing. A couple of other things I use, not as regularly, and I don't, well, so I use Pure Life enzymes and probiotics. I break
Mm.
in my food. What I notice is I don't have to have this, but what I notice is probably important that I do is I was starting to notice, and this is quite common. People say about 2 years in, they start noticing this with a raw food diet. Probably notice with any diet is when I was having bowel movements, what comes out, it has partially digested, not completely digested food. Now I'm missing the top part of my digestive system. So I notice when I take these, which have the enzymes like protease, lipase, amylase, which will break down the proteins and the fats and the sugars in what you eat, as well as probiotics, different strains, Aphidophilus and Bifidum and Plantrium are some of the ones in this, and that will help break down the food as well. So it doesn't speed up digestion. It doesn't stop bloating. What it does do is when I have a bowel movement, I notice it's all broken down. I can't recognize anything that comes out. There's no leaves, there's
Ah,
no pieces of fruit. And so that's going to contribute to, once you break the food down, you can assimilate it better.
that's amazing.
It is amazing, but it's not like I physically notice something. I actually haven't, but I like if I skip this, I won't notice it. Over a long period of time, the only thing I notice is when I go have a bowel movement that what comes out will be leaves and stuff.
Mm.
So that's what that does for me. And that I take regularly, but if I skip it, I'm not stressed about it. I really can't skip the magnesium or flax oil. Like they're two things I just can't skip.
Hmm.
I have recently introduced the algae oil.
Yeah.
I
You
do
read
find
the capsule, right?
Yeah, I do find huge benefits to this. These are the DHA and EPA omega 3 fatty acids, which aren't, so the other omega 3 from flax oil is ALA, and that's great for everywhere in the body. And the body should be able to make EPA and DHA, but it is more difficult. So they are like that. Oh, sorry, that didn't come from the packet. That was on the outside. So I actually had a really bad reaction to whatever is on the outside of that. It says vegan, but that shell. So I have to pin them open and suck it out. You could put it in your smoothie. It does taste like fish. It is algae, but it's not. I'm used to it now. I do find having a couple of these in the morning at night is almost, I could skip the flax oil for a couple of days. Like it really does sustain me. I notice the focus, brain focus. It's like my spicy brain, which is just always pulled. There's a sound. I'm like, what was that? Someone talks, what was that? That stops. It stops. I can still probably hear the background noise, but it stops that. Now, there is you can get DHA and EPA from things like nori sheets. I don't know what else has it. I think a lot of the seaweeds do have, but you need to make sure you'd have to eat a lot. So I'm getting confused here with selenium. No, not selenium, iodine. You need to eat a lot. That's why this is so concentrated. So each their own how they're going to get it, but I notice a huge difference. So this is something else I take. So let's say what I regularly take is these.
How much does that cost, the whole bottle?
That is $60 plus $15. I think a bit more than $60. Like, don't quote me. It's about $60, but then $15 for shipping, and that's Australian. So in America, you can halve that. If you, I don't know. Yeah, I know Jillian, I think, got this brand, so it does import ship to America. It is an Australian local brand.
Mm,
I was just looking for a local brand, family type owned thing, which,
mhm,
is a good quality. It feels good quality. So this and flaxseed oil are really important to me. But I don't know if you want to call them supplements. They're concentrated oils, really. Uh,
mhm.
the most important is really that. And this is almost like, I guess, I mean, there's enzymes in that, but so these as well. So those two and these two. And the quercetin is like a medication. So it's an antihistamine, a natural antihistamine. Quercetin is a polyphenol in grapes or onion, purple onion. So that's like once a month when I have a flare up if I need something. Now, some other things I have on hand and I have used, I want to talk about. So my iodine on my blood test got really low, and I wasn't taking, probably having enough nori sheets or kelp to keep it up, or CMOS gel. So for about a month, I took some iodine fort to the concentrate just to bring it up. Because remember, I don't have a stomach, so even absorbing it from the CMOS is going to be difficult. I feel like once I got in my flow, I don't use it now. But for about a month, I did use that to get my iodine back up. Now I just make sure I have two scoops of CMOS every day. Plus, you get great hair and skin and guts, but it's or you can have 2 to 3 nori sheets
Are
every
you
day.
gonna continue
Yes,
with
I have.
CMOS
Yes,
every
every
day?
day. Yep, every day.
Cool.
Yes. So I'm going to do that. So I don't use that anymore, but that was something when I got low in. Some other things I've got here I wanted to try is if you have mast cell activation, I got pretty sick with mine, is and a stomach like mine, which is missing, DAO, diamines oxidase, is made in the stomach. It breaks histamines down. When you've got a damaged gut or leaky gut, your gut will not make much, if any, or enough to break down the histamines in the gut. And a lot of people, I really believe everyone who has histamine issues has gut problems. So I got this to try, but as all my mast cell histamine people out there will know, is you can be allergic to anything, including the cure. So that really does not sit well. It just kind of irritates me. So I don't use that. That just sits in the cupboard. But I tried
That's
it.
It's great. You know, Sky's body respond very quickly. So
Very
it's
quickly.
great that you notice it, because a lot of people say, well, I just take it kind of like a insurance thing
I do.
without, you know, having the data or feeling it. For me, always check the blood test, or yeah, because as I mentioned, as I was mentioning, the eye twitching, I was sure that it was lack of magnesium, because that's usually the common symptom if you're lacking magnesium, right? Like if you have like a night, um, if your legs, if you have a leg cramp, usually that's lack of magnesium. Eye twitching is also one of the thing, but when I tested magnesium, I had too much magnesium because I started taking like nigari, which is the sea, concentration of seawater that has a lot of magnesium, and apparently that was too much. But yeah, I just wanted to comment. Someone said, Kiko, is she cold in there? You look like I'm freezing. I am. It's -1 Celsius, which is 30 Fahrenheit, and we don't have a central heating system. And I just turned on the heater, so I'm just liking layer after layer.
It's Alexander. Hey. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah. So she said,
Oh, there. Thank you for the
eh,
beautiful compliment.
yeah. And maybe are you done with your?
No, so these are
uh,
just things I've tried. I just wanted to talk on that I don't particularly use. So the vitamin E I got when I had the surgery recently to have the cancer on my stomach pulled out or taken off the skin cancer there. So I grabbed some vitamin E capsules and I took them as well as popped them open and just rubbed it on the wound. I have
Mhm.
no calling to continue to take this. I'm sure it could benefit. It's just you've got to weigh up. The reason you don't put handfuls of this stuff in is you've got to weigh up how taxing it is on the body. Like my body can much easily assimilate raw foods very easily. It's happy, it's high vibe. if it needs something from that, it's stronger now. It will break it down, but it's still taxing. It's not as easy to assimilate. That's why we don't all live off handfuls of vitamins, or astronauts who eat dried vitamin fortified food look amazing, right? Okay, so that was just for acute injuries. And if I have some wound again, I probably would take it for a few weeks and apply it topically as well. Um, and this is electrolyte, like trace minerals. And when I start keto, um, I notice the first few days your electrolytes can become out of balance. And it happens because the body gets rid of all the glycogen, the glucose glycogen from the muscles. So to get rid of that, it's stored in water. It will use electrolytes to kind of pull it from the muscles and then use it to push the water in through the kidneys as well. So I don't like it. It can make me feel a little disoriented. So I have used that before. They're just trace minerals. But in truth, these aren't things that I don't use a lot. It's really just magnesium. And then you've got the probiotics and the oils. That's it, really.
At B12, you're getting
Oh,
some.
sorry. Yeah, but my doctor told me to stop having it for now because every time he tests me, he goes, it's just through the roof. He goes, you're just holding on to it now, whereas I'm so used to needing it all the time. And iron, I've had 2 infusions over the past couple of years, but that's much better than having them every couple months. So, um,
Because you aren't assimilating the pill.
no, I never have because it's quite hard to absorb. But a lot of people have said have it with lots of vitamin C. But I will be totally honest here. I've had vitamin infusions before over the last 5 years. My body will assimilate it like that. Same with an iron infusion. Give me something to put through my gut. And this is how I ended up so sick, right? Because I'm missing that part of my stomach and I just get really sick. And in truth, anytime I need something, I would prefer an injection. And that may seem very traumatizing to someone, but it's just so stressful and can cause allergies. And I don't assimilate much. And then the things I am eating don't absorb because I've kind of damaged my gut. My gut is just so sensitive. So when it comes to these things, I would just rather, if I need it, do that than continue to kind of stress my body out with daily like
Mm,
vitamins. And that's just a personal choice.
yeah. Um, Jax asked what got rid of your eye twitching. Yeah. So for me, it was B12.
Yeah, but you're right, magnesium. But also, if you get cramps, it can be potassium, sodium, or magnesium because a lot of them regulate. It's usually fluid electrolyte issues. They
Mm-hmm.
all will contribute to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am for blood tests. Some people don't like it, and you can go for magnesium. That's easy. Again, when I tested it, I had too much magnesium because I was taking a little too much supplements apparently. So not yeah, it's not the
So
pills.
I think at the moment get blood tests. Well, I get them yearly. I like to every year see where my blood work is. If something's gone wrong and I am worried, I will do it at a 6 month mark. Or if I'm feeling really unwell, which hasn't happened. So I've had them yearly.
Yeah, that's what I do. I don't take it off that often, unless there's like a I'm missing. I'm feeling
Mm,
something is off. Yeah.
mm. And I think what this is all about is like, just say you, for some reason, your body isn't absorbing something and you've done everything you possibly can. Is it worth having eye twitches or getting nerve damage by not having something? It's like that. It's like modern medicine. It's like you do everything you possibly can, but just say you break a limb. Is it worth having a bone which doesn't heal properly that you haven't looked after? Or is it better to have an x-ray and have somebody set it and have it heal? And everyone has their personal choice. That's what life's about. But for me, it's like my job on this planet is to just look after myself full time. But if I can't get something and I've done everything I can to look after myself, that's when I will be like, I'll use a supplement. And usually I try these things. As you can see, I've got some things and they just don't work. But magnesium has just too many benefits uh, for me, and the oils. And I think that's just an assimilation thing. I did see somebody speak on mast cell activation and how they like find their clients. He was a health coach, do really well with olive oil because it lines the gut. And I do feel like half the reason I love flaxseed oil is because it's immediately stopping a lot of inflammation because it's an oil. It doesn't necessarily feel like the omega-3s have just gone. That feels like what happens over hours, if not days, weeks. But the oil, I think, is very settling for people who are having like these flares.
Yeah, it's so person to person,
Yes.
it's so different. Like for me, when I take flax oil, every time I get a bit of scratch, like a skin rash, and I started taking little by little, like how you suggested, so I can be a little more tolerant. And I would start it with just a few drops, but I still get like some
Wow.
a little, like it's very tiny, like you don't even see. It's just a dry scratch, and it seems to be very consistent with flaxseed oil
Yeah.
for sure. And the even flaxseed, if I take too much, I would have a stomach ache or skin rashes.
Interesting. Have you tried chia oil?
I didn't even I didn't even know that chia oil existed.
It does, but if you're having see, here's the thing, you're having 8 tablespoons of chia seeds a day and you don't seem to have digestive issues. So you're going to get enough omega-3s. But if you wanted, there is chia oil because it sounds like you're having a reaction. I know Dr. Brooke Goldner talks about the lignans, which are like those fibers, and a lot of the oils still have lignin in it, um,
Mm.
which
That's
can,
Yeah, I don't know if it's available here in Japan. I'm gonna
it's
look
hard to
for it.
get. I really try
Yeah.
not I try not use anything that's hard to get as part of my diet. So any brands I have, it's usually because I can get them very quickly. This diet is not like any others. Everything we do is very different. If you have to get it all from extremes, you won't stay. You will
Yeah.
eat things that don't serve you. So I try source everything like, and chia seed oil. If I relied on it, I just wouldn't have regular access to it.
Have you tried it?
No, I assume the only place I could probably get it would be something like Amazon. I see in Dr. Brooke Goldner's group people order it, but it's hard to get and hard to
Ah,
find. Whereas flax oil is in most health food shops.
okay. Wow. Skye, you know so much. It's amazing. You learn
Ah!
so much. I mean, you're like a natural raw vegan pharmacy.
Ah! You know what? I'll tell you something funny.
uh,
My sister, have you seen that movie Jerry Maguire?
yeah, a long time
My
ago.
my sister, I've always been like this. She's like, I'll say something and you'll be like, did you know that a leaf has this many sides or it grows in the sunlight or whatever? She goes, you like that little boy that goes to Jerry Maguire. Did you know the human head weighs 8 pounds? Did you know the rabbit neck? And she goes, you remind me of him. And this is before I was raw. She's like, you always just got this information.
Oh, so
But now I
nice.
can use it in raw. I can be like, did you know? Did you know? Until
That,
you're like, shut up, Sky. I don't care to know.
that's great. You're very curious and smart woman. That's why.
Oh, so are
You,
you.
Thank you. So I wanted to go back to what you mentioned about, like how we take a good care. Like these supplements that we take, this is because we take full care of what we eat, what we exercise, and everything we eat is purposeful, right? I want to get back to that because that's such an important point. But I wanted to share what I take as my supplements at the
Sure.
moment. So you ask, this is um, Chinese herb in powder form. It has gardenia fruit,
Yep.
and then philodendron bark.
Hmm.
Oh, that's like oh, I forgot the name. It's a sweet herb. It's a berk that's sweet. Sometimes I used to add it in my herb tea because that makes it naturally sweet. It's kind of like cinnamon. Um, I forgot the name, but anyway, licorice. Licorice is what I wanted to mention. Licorice. So there are just three ingredients, active
Mhm.
ingredients, and it's working. This is I'm into second month, and the itchiness. Like I had like really intense neck itchiness. Like everything that touched me, like even like hair that would touch my neck,
Oh
it,
no.
it would drive me crazy, and I had like all the rashes here as well. Not really bad, but I was feeling the itchiness. So anyway, I'm
So
gonna take this.
with those herbs, so I had got a whole lot of Dr. Morse herbs, and I'll tell you about my past with herbs. So in my lifetime, no matter how sick I was, when naturopaths will they prescribe some sort of diet with a ton of herbs and supplements, but if you have mast cell activation, the herbs that sit on the shelf, they get a lot of histamine. So when you take them,
Mm.
they're very aggravating on the system. So it's probably why even when a lot of these naturopaths had prescribed me diets, which you've taken away a lot of processed things and a lot of aggravating things, they put a whole ton of aggravation back inside a person. When I took Dr. Morse herbs, each time I've taken them, I've ended up on like acute migraines, acute pain, nerve pain. It's like I'm being torn apart through my body everywhere
Wow.
where I've needed pain relief. Every time I've ended up so unwell. And I don't, and in my life, I never reacted to medications. And another reason for that is herbs act on the body systemically in many places, whereas medications are isolates. So you're either allergic to what it's isolating and turning on or turning off, or you're not. It's not a whole systemic system. But on top of that, the histamines, which it's a food, which is now fermenting or like drying and bit like it's just how histidine starts to come into the foods and activate, and you get more histamines in like fermented foods, anything that sits on a shelf. That's why I do so well with raw foods, because you're taking away levels and levels and levels of histamines. So I just wanted to say, if you are trying to fix yourself, and the other thing I wanted to bring up just on since I'm on histamines is a lot of people say as they start a raw food diet, they got a lot better. And then as they get into it, they get worse. What you have to understand is a lot of people start doing a lot of sweet fruit and they can eat a lot more. So as a fruit gets sweeter, it's actually fermenting to some extent. It's not ripening. So you're
Mm.
getting more and more histamines. And blood sugar can quite often be a trigger. And so there's more sugar. And this is for everyone. This is a lot of people who have a lot of had a chronic illness. And then you're eating more, so you're getting sugar, many more histamines in the gut, and you're getting a bigger volume. So
Mm.
because when you start, you eat semi-ripe fruit. Not many people, when they who aren't raw, don't eat very, very sweet fruit. And so that's just something to be mindful of, because all of those things are massive triggers for my mast cell. And that's how we're getting into the diet, changed my diet to suit um, me. There's so many raw foods. There's so many raw foods.
Mm. Yeah, this is Sky. Thank you so much. It's so helpful, I think, because on my raw vegan journey for 22 years, and there's times that I was sick, and I felt so alone, and I didn't want to go to see a doctor because all they want to do is just, have a surgery or like give you a pill that I'm not in line with. And these kind of signs, like, because everyone's different, we all react different way on certain things, that when you give like, oh, this is what I experienced, that really helps. Like real example like this helps me so much, and I think it helps for many people. It's like, oh, maybe this is what I'm having, because it could be a maze, like what is it, like where should I go for help?
What's really interesting is I think we're more intuitive than we actually realize, in that when we come to this lifestyle, is the actual fruits that I tolerate best were ones that I liked throughout my life, which are like green grapes, a little bit of watermelon. I've never ate like heaps.
Mm.
Berries were okay. Like I did like berries, green apples. I was never a red apple person. And so when I got stuck into all the fruits and like a little bit of citrus, not too much, never could eat bananas. We know that bananas for me are like a death sentence. The next day just a mess. And so we actually, these are
Mm.
usually established quite young. It depends where you are and what fruit you have access to. But I find those are like truly, if I eat fruit, they're the staples for me. I'm better off with all of those. Also, are you a sweet or savory person? If you were always a savory person all of your life, do you think you completely got it wrong your whole life? I'm still better with all the savory foods. And in fact, when the what I eat now and do best on still is how I intuitively found it. Like although me omega-3s do help more, then that's the only other thing. I'm better with veggies and some greens and some avocados and little bits of fruit. And that's how I started and got healed myself completely. And then I've gone and read that you're supposed to do all this fruit and you're supposed to do all this. And all I did is end up extremely sick.
Mm.
So I believe, keep giving yourself power. Think through things that work for you. Don't completely ride your whole life off, as in,
Mm.
like, my body knew nothing. Like, even when you're getting it wrong, you're still getting some things right. And you did say something about, sorry, just before I forget, I consider all of this, including juicing, including anything which isn't a fresh food, as my medicine, my drug. Like that, I am doing everything I can and I don't jump to pharmaceuticals. If
Mm.
like so, but I also want people to realize they're not something to be mucked around with either. As in, like, this is like my whole life is movement, good people, good food, sunshine, low stress, good sleep. That's the only purpose somebody should have before they do anything, right?
That's
And
so
yes,
important.
yes. And then if I can't get well, I will do something like juicing to give my body a rest. Some people do fasting. That to me sits in a classification of like my pharmaceuticals. Like that's my pharmacy right there, where it's very concentrated. It's giving that system a rest. And then if that doesn't work, then the next grade for me is this. I'm like, pharmaceuticals for me are like break when everything else doesn't work. When you are so unwell, like you, Kiko, where you almost bled to death,
Mm.
uh, which is scary, is yes, you need a doctor. That's
Mm.
their job. That's what we want them for.
Yeah, exactly. For me, the supplements in general don't work well. So that's just in general. Like growing up, I never really took anything, and I never needed to.
Mm.
Um, then like B12 and things like what we talk about, like it's the last thing, right? Like I love supplementing myself with something like this. That's a real food. And also chronometer. Even though I feel kind of lazy to type in also weigh everything, but then once you get familiar with one banana is like maybe 100 grams, and then like maybe about 80 calories, you get a hang of it. But it's interesting because when I used to log in all the information into chronometer, it would say that I'm lacking iron. And there's certain nutrient I was lacking with. And I said, well, I feel great, so there shouldn't be an issue. And that ended up showing in my blood.
Wow.
Yeah, so now I pay a little more attention to chronometer, and again, chia seeds in this, 5 tablespoons, and another 3 tablespoons in my afternoon dessert. That would do for me. So I pay a little more attention to it. Yeah. And another important thing is that before being on a high raw, now at the moment I'm fully raw, but I used to sort of do this like a cheat treat on like
Treat, treat. Yeah.
like I say, well, just a little bit of candy doesn't hurt. And even like a tiniest candy, I would like processed vegan candy,
Yep.
which I don't really enjoy eating, but people around me might be eating. I say, oh, I'll just pop in my mouth, and that would show. It would just completely changed my microbiome. It's it's crazy. My
Yeah.
skin gets so dry. My bowel movement completely gets destroyed. I mean, it's just crazy. The tiny amount would change a lot. So I said it's just not worth it. Just I don't have cravings. I have this cravings of things like this nowadays, but I don't need to eat those processed food anymore to satisfy me.
Yeah, when I work with people, because I've never technically gone back to cooked food, I had coffee and that nearly killed me. But the one couple things I hear is what you just mentioned. Well, the first one is that they don't know how they ended up back where they are. There seems to be this you unlock part of your brain, which is, you have. I'll give you an example. When I had the coffee, right, is one thing I noticed is my voice. It turned gross. Like it's not crisp and clear because you get acid coming up to protect you. And because of me, I don't have a lot of the stomach. So you get it in your ears and your nose and your eyes, right? And smells change around you. So things that I used to fear because you've got acid, right? So things that I used to be like, oh my God, that's poison. I could not eat. Your very clear sinuses, you can identify things that are not serving you as like an animal, right? So I tell this story. 4 days of having coffee, right? I go to Pilates. Now, I've walked past this cake shop in Australia called Baker's Delight. When I was really sick, I used to get like finger buns or I used to get like cinnamon scrolls or all these sort of things, right? It's these cakes. And I've walked past this shop a million times. The only time I've registered anything was when I was like, oh my God, I could smell these like chemicals or processed, very intense sweetness, right? From all the sugar. And I'm like, oh, anyway, after having coffee, because everything's basically been numbed, is I almost literally walked myself in. I had to use all my willpower to walk past, not just walk in and grab my regular, like from the past. Right?
Wow,
And it
that's a,
reminded, yeah, of all the clients that say, I don't know how I've ended up eating, like, there's like coffee and wine, and they've gone out to restaurants. And I'm like, I get it because you've covered your sinuses. So things are actually smelling different, that they're not the same as, like when you, especially if you're just eating very fresh, you walk past things and you'll be like, oh my God, it smell. So isn't that fascinating?
that's incredible. Just few cups of coffee did
I
it for
think I
you.
have, because I don't have that valve which blocks the acid. I think you could feel the acid. And then I'm talking and I'm like, oh my God, my voice sounds like I'm half dead. I don't even want to talk on camera. It's not attractive. It's like almost like, it's like, and I'm like, that's how
Incredible.
I used to always sound. And then you add to that a whole lot of cooked food, you get more acid. And so, but yeah, as soon as I got back onto the raw foods, is the acids come back down. I got pain, massive amount, all that side where my stomach should be, just burnt from it. But it was probably the most interesting thing about that. And so that's what I hear my clients say is they don't know how they've ended up where they are. The other thing is some of them are like, oh, I tried to have tofu or just some beans and I just didn't go to the toilet for 3 days. Like I just cement. And I was like, that's so amazing that things that people have eaten their whole life, just
Ah,
like, people eat tofu and beans and all these things, and how lagging bowel movements probably are in humans.
yeah. It's just for me, I've done this cycle so many times and it's just not worth it. It's just it, just one pleasure, maybe 1 or 2 seconds of pleasure that would last me, 4 or 5 days to I guess get it out of my system, and it's just not worth it. Yeah, that's interesting. So, but when you go Pilates, right? You have it's not private, is it? It's other.
No, no, no. It's like group, but it was just interesting because there's shops around it that when I walking past the shops, all the smells had changed. They become familiar for when I
Mm,
used to eat cook more familiar, not as familiar, but they were tapping in. So in my head, I'm like, I get how people are they're like, I've had this. It just feels very familiar. But when you're up on raw foods, it's not like that. So I get
yeah,
why people don't want any cooked food.
but I was wondering, are you getting some sensitivity on people's like they might not perfume, but like
That
products
stops
that
the
they
omega
use?
3s. So that stopped once I've got omega-3s in. The what's the word I want to use? The interpretation of the input of smells coming in stopped being like, it's like being like all the time. It's like, oh my God, my head, I feel disoriented. And then it's like, and then you get panicky as well. Your whole nervous system is not good. Omega-3s, when the messages come in, I'm like, that smells nice. Not that I'd use it, but that's a better place to be
Oh
than
my
to
God, that's a
sick and
huge
steady.
game changer, right? Because everyone,
Huge. When I was really high raw and just like fruit and greens, when I walked around the corner in my apartment block past the laundry, it was like being someone had, the smell of the laundry powder. I would get so sick. I remember when I was eating and I was having no omega-3s really, just omega-6 and 9 from high omega-6 and 9 from avocados. I'd walk in, mum left, accidentally used her detergent, and dad had dropped off tea towels and put them on my desk. I walked in my apartment. It was like being, I was like, oh my God. And the disorientation, you can't sleep. It just shakes up your nervous system. So I'm much better greens, vegetables. At the moment, I really can't do too much fruit. I'm as able because I'm doing keto and you can have berries, but that wasn't doing good except for acai. And I had some dragon fruit yesterday. I probably
mm,
can have a little bit, but I had a whole one. And then I was in the car, wasn't as bad. My nerves started to hurt within 15 minutes, but it did subside. And so the dragon fruit wasn't sweet. It's the white one, that's not
yeah,
too. So I'm only having a little bit, but that works well to keep my nervous system, my brain. You got more minerals, you got better electrical communication, especially with more minerals and the, what do you want to call it? Omega-3s. And
yeah, omega-3 is such a
it's,
superhero for us, right? Like for me, I'm very sensitive with oil in general. Like if I take a little bit of olive oil, I will have a really bad reaction. So I don't take any processed oil. Chia seed oil maybe one day, or like algae oil, maybe it might work. But I used to have a very severe reaction to it. And I was trying to stick with 80-10-10, like low fat. But I noticed that I was very reactive to so many things. And I
yeah.
do feel like that chia seed is like really protecting me in so many levels.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know struggle, and the options there are you're going to have to move somewhere like the tropics where you're, because we are electrical beings, right? Our electrical circuit is not grounded or running properly. We are direct currents, not alternate currents. We are around alternate currents all day, but we're supposed to be on the earth, which Mother Earth is a direct current. So all our organs become less inflamed. So if you are eating a lot of fruit, you can feel like very charged up and not, I feel non-protected without omega-3s. I feel like
Yeah.
all the nylon sheath, all the cells are just, they're firing very fast, but erratically and not grounded, right? So I feel like if you live, and plus a lot of people live in the tropics have got access to lots of durian. Like I feel like that Mother Earth probably made lots of this fatty fruit because it was needed and protective. But so we're not grounded, we're not sleeping on the earth, and we're eating fruit which isn't right and not matched for our environment.
Mm,
Anyway, these are just
but,
my
but
thoughts of
it,
myself, what happened to me.
yeah, I think that it helps that, we are sharing our own experience. And, when I lived in Costa Rica for 1 year, and
Yeah.
I was in this uh, northern part of Costa Rica. And, I was eating tropical fruits, lots and lots of tropical fruits. And oh my God, I wish I knew about omega-3 fatty acids at that time, because I became so sensitive. Because that,
Really?
yeah, this is the area where Dole cultivates
Yes,
uh,
yes, yes.
pineapple, melon, watermelon, and some. If you don't know, like Costa Rica actually use a lot of pesticides, and I became so
Yeah.
sick because, uh, yeah, I remember I had a bit of honey from that area, and I had skin rashes everywhere. Because I mean, imagine the bees,
Yes, the
taking,
pollen.
yeah, pollen. It's yeah, people in that area don't eat their local fruits because they know how much pesticides that goes into it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to have to get going. I've got my group
Okay,
call
well,
coming up.
this was excellent as always. Thank you so much for sharing, Sky, your excellent knowledge of sharing all your supplements. That's very interesting. So I hope that helps for people, other people as well. And we'll be back next week.
We will. Thanks, guys.
Yay.
Thanks, Kiko.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.